Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here, right? I'm going to put every scientific fact, biology facts, okay, spiritual facts and biblical history together. So you can see that every scholar in the world is on the same page right now. The problem is the whole public and all the world and most people, like 98% of the Western civilization, can't handle the truth, can't face and can't deal with it. So they're going brain lock denial. A species in denial, okay, beyond the point of return through the inflection point where they're trapped inside their mind with their own narrative and their own perception. These are just facts, right? Documented all over the world. Consider this, okay? The sixth mass extinction began over 100 years ago. You've been stripped from your sixth sense since 1921 for the sixth time. That's the 3 6s recorded in every document in the world by the top scholars in the world, right? Okay, the sixth mass extinction being stripped from the sixth sense for the sixth time. Revelation began in the sixth mass extinction, right? With the 2 wars, right, and Israel being given back in the 40s. The post-human state's been since 1960, where people can't think straight. You know that. You know that people consume too much and think too much psychologically and mentally overall and conquer divide. Okay, these are just facts. Mental disorders and DNA defects have gone through the roof from 2% in 1960 to 54% by 2019. Accelerating 7 times faster, confirmed 3 months ago. With zombie viruses, body-snatching viruses, Havana syndromes all over the world, which is mental disorders, where people are using their frequencies of their natural organic manuscripts, their sixth sense, recorded on documents, losing their sixth sense. Their natural organic manuscripts to think outside the mind, they're all trapped inside their mind. Okay, so what we're watching now is the biggest depopulation plan with psychological warfare being stripped from their sixth sense, which is their spiritual connection. Their sixth sense, the most positive fields. Now, let me tell you something. You're told in the Bible, right? I want to make something clear to you, right? You're told in the Bible, I'm going to bring you evidence here. The greatest philosopher of all time reported by every scholar in the world is Plato. And every scholar ever since only been footnotes of Plato. Jeremy Gibbs, the top holders in the whole world, have been studying Plato and the human condition for 45 years. The cure of the human conditioning is a cure from stress, fear, anxiety, confusion, frustration, delusion, paranoia, self-centered behavior, egotism, competitive behavior, far left, far right, okay? Living in your own truth in some sort of comfort zone or can't handle the truth. And that's the majority, right? They think they're having a 1-minute video or a 10-minute video, right? Don't they? So they haven't got the capacity to think outside the mind. Okay, the light bulb in here, right, is the picture that tells you 1,000 words. Dimensional thinking. We can see the picture with every single puzzle and unravel everything because you have a multiple perception, not some kind of narrative stuck in your perception that you live in, which is very limited. Where you can only use 7% of your mind and a mastermind can use 100% of their mind because they think instinctively 99% of the time and you think mentally 95 to 99% of the time. We can see that in DNA studies done. That's why you've got to watch part 1 here of this video, right, on the witness page or Street Western Bible page on Facebook. You have got to pay attention, right, because it's happening all over the world and peer reports everywhere. But there's only one person in the whole world that can put it together, right? Consider that for a moment. You're told in the Bible, one of the most crucial things is the witness will come with the resurrection. Who is the witness? Enoch 1:8, the book of Enoch, will protect the elect. So you're told in the Bible in the end that only the elect will not be deceived and only the witness will teach the resurrection. Who's that? Who was the most favorite man of God in human history? Enoch. He stood for righteousness and the teaching. He was raptured into the future. That's why they removed him from the Bible. He was the greatest teacher and the most favorite man of God. Why? Because Adam failed and Noah failed. So the greatest mastermind in the world, right, was Enoch with the teaching who came into the future spiritually, right, in another vessel, right? In another vessel like you and I, who don't know who we are, what we in the meaning of life is, inside our vessel, inside our mind, inside our psychological mental behavior, right? So Enoch came into the future, right? Elijah came out of prison, right, in John the Baptist, which means John the Baptist went to prison and then resurrected, right, from the reincarnation trap and broke free from amnesia and was Elijah. And he came out as mad as a cut snake, didn't he, with fire coming out of his mouth. Well, Enoch was a teacher in spirit that came through, right, and taught Jesus how to master his mind. Went to Egypt with secret knowledge, right, how to learn the resurrection. Took him to the monks and the Buddhists with the Shula Mastermind to master his mind. Master his mind, so his mind wasn't being mastered. At 24, he discovered who he was and broke free from amnesia, right? And discovered his progenitor genes and who he was in the past. So as a biological person, He was a boy like you and me that didn't know jack shit about life, psychologically and mental, analysing, and getting analysed, right? Then he broke free from amnesia and discovered his natural organic motor skills to do many extraordinary things that you can. Now, the biggest mastermind in the world, take Bruce Lee, one of the most sophisticated masterminds in the world that got into a lot of information was. Who was the greatest mastermind? Was it Bruce Lee? Or was it his teacher? His teacher that taught him how to be better than himself. Who's the greatest philosopher of all time? Plato? According to all the documents, is it Plato? Or was it the mastermind, his teacher, which was his father, who was the greatest philosopher that taught him how to be better than himself? Think about that for a moment, you morons. Because the teacher of all kind is the greatest teacher in the world that taught Jesus for 17 years to break free from amnesia and discover his tools so fantastically that Jesus took 12 disciples and only took 7 years. But it still takes 7 years to master your mind. A Shula mastermind knows that. They dedicate themselves to this. So it took him 7 years, right, for 12 disciples to break free from amnesia and discover their tools so they could do what he can and more, right? Do you know that? So what does Jesus tell you in Revelation? He said only the witness would teach the resurrection of humanity, and the only way you will know him is with the tools that he has. But he'll come with fire coming out of his mouth in raggedy clothes, and he'll come from the cave of the prison with the truth to the masses. The elect and the witness will be old men of renown, wisdom and knowledge that uses those tools and not stuck in a reincarnation trap. Right? So therefore, Enoch will protect the elect, and you'll know with his tools. Jeremy Griffiths, the World Transformation Movement, is the first man in human history to discover the cure of the human condition of humanity, to be free from the reincarnation trap and break free from amnesia. Right? So the elect person right here now, Winnock, the breathing program held by every top scholar in the world to be the most important book on the planet, Freedom, the cure of the human condition is going to save humanity, the whole grail of understanding self biological. Read the book. Listen to his videos on World Transformation Movement. You're not being asked, you're being told. If you don't like it, then get stuck in the reincarnation trap no matter who you are. Now, the other elect person who's also a scientist, biologist, remember, these people are biologists and scientists. Remember that. Okay, the other old elect is Bruce Lipton, who wrote the books. The Placebo Effect and More Powerful Than Your Reality. Joe Dispenza wrote the books, right? We can stop aging process, reverse aging process. Winnock, who's won a Nobel Prize and 27 Guinness Book of Records for superhuman abilities. What does he say? It's about believing, it's about love, everything else is BS. Those superhuman abilities to think instinctively in a primal state, as he says, you can do what I can and more. Bruce Lee said you can do what I can and more when you think outside the mind, mastermind, so to shoot a visual mastermind. You didn't listen, did you? So I'm here to tell you something. I'm the witness, because you can tell by the tools with the miracles I created. I've been dead 3 times. I brought a person back to life 3 times. I created the biggest miracles recorded in the documents, and the biggest think tank in the world recorded me as the biggest mastermind in the world. My book unfolds with evidence perfectly the testimony of Dracula reborn. You cannot debunk it, but you do. But you do. You were told I'd come with fire out of my mouth in the cave of prisons, right? And I'll be an outlaw like Jesus was, who said the kingdom's your church, not your church. You're all wrong, right? The pharaohs are wrong. The religions are wrong. You're all wrong, right? Okay, so the greatest teacher, the most trusted man in human history was Enoch, the teacher that brought God himself up, Jesus Christ, to be perfect by 24. So perfect he could teach other people in 7 years how to break free from amnesia and discover the tools so they could do what he can and more. Now, you can sit there in your little narrative and you can go to a quote in the Bible mentally and psychologically and be trapped inside your mind to believe what you believe in. But you're told by Jesus himself, God himself, you're told only the witness would come to the resurrection of humanity from the posthumous stage and the human condition you suffer from so much. You were told every human being on earth will be deceived except for the elect and the witness that will protect the elect and teach the resurrection of humanity. So I come with that resurrection, right, with the We're Not Breathing program, right, and the book Freedom of Jeremy Griffiths to understand this biologically and psychologically and mentally. Those that don't listen to this will surely be devoured. Now, that's not negotiable. It never has been and never was. Everybody's an antichrist and don't believe in Christ. When you don't believe in me, you don't believe in nothing about Christ. You're a liar. And I want you to understand that you're a godless, immoral creature all over the days of Noah. And nothing's changed. Psychologically, man, white man crazy, white man God's crazy. Wake up.